Who is Aireontae Ersery? Let's get to know him a little bit. The newest Texans offensive lineman, an area of need, which the Texans addressed after addressing another area of need early on day 2 at wide receiver. Who is the tackle out of Minnesota? A couple of interesting diagnoses or breakdowns of him heading into the draft. Todd McShay was the first one who got a lot of attention. McShay said he had him as a top 3 tackle in this draft, said he could very well end up being the best tackle. The game that got a lot of attention with him was his matchup against Abdul Carter at Penn State, and the way that he held his own in that. We'll hear from the man himself. There's also kind of a theory that I have that I don't think is getting a lot of attention, and that he might be a pretty angry guy, and it's probably anger in the right form, especially when it comes to where the Texans are and what the Texans are going to do. The first question about him, though, is how does he fit? The Texans need quality starters on all 5 spots on the offensive line. There's some uncertainties, but for the most part, any and all improvements would be welcome. Last year, they drafted Blake Fisher in the 2nd round when they seemed all in on Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard, who were 2 of the highest paid tackles in the league. They brought in Blake Fisher. He was a swing tackle. He got some starts at the end of the year. High-low, typical rookie season. The Caserio comments before the draft where he said the draft is basically 50-50, that's really going to be put to test with these last 2 picks in the 2nd round at tackle, because between Fisher and Ersery, you want to have at least one of these guys be a quality starter, which is what you want when you draft someone in the 2nd round. Now, in a perfect world, both of them are quality starters, but it does seem like Ersery, when it comes to the guys that are breaking stuff down, the scouts, all that, he seems to have a little bit more upside and a little bit more praise than the question marks that came with Blake Fisher. It felt like Ersery was taken in the right range. It felt kind of like Blake Fisher. Some people thought that maybe some of the tackles that went after him were better. So we'll see that put to test, the 50-50 theory. Other question is, and we'll hear him answer this question himself, is he just a tackle? Is Ersery just a tackle, or is he someone that can move inside? I personally don't think that Cam Robinson, just because you're invested somewhat heavily in him for 1 year, if it's a close battle, maybe you go with the rookie. Maybe he's ready to go. He's got a lot of experience in the Big Ten. He's one of the best tackles in the league last year, All-American, All-Conference. Is he just a tackle, though? Could he be a guy that could start at guard and then bump out to tackle? And the other question is, how does he fit this new offensive line culture? We'll hear from the man himself. And also, I have a theory as to why he might be somewhat angry. And by somewhat, there was probably a point in this draft when he was extremely pissed off. And I think that's something he might be able to carry as he becomes perhaps one of the foundations of this Texans era and a guy in charge of protecting the blind side of CJ Stroud. First, though, let's hear from the man himself. This was him after the draft via Zoom with the Houston media. Here's Ersery on what he brings to the table.
Yeah, so I'm back at home in Kansas City. I'm here with my family, my dad, my mom, my high school friends that are, that see me go through this whole journey. And my brothers and sisters, my little brothers and sisters that gave me unconditional love, unconditional support, and for them to be here right now, we all healthy and happy, and to be able to celebrate is nothing but God. So I'm just thankful. The Houston Texas chose me, and I'm ready to get to work now.
Cole.
Aireontae, congratulations on getting drafted. Cole Thompson from Texans Wire. You were a 3-year starter at Minnesota. You were a 3rd-team All-American. You were Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. But what can you tell Houston Texans fans they're getting in a future hopeful left tackle for the long term?
Yes, sir. You're getting a guy that's committed. That's committed to the process, the guy that's going to come in, that's going to outwork everybody, and you're getting a guy, most importantly, that loves football, and I take pride in, protecting my quarterback and opening holes for my running back.
All right, so there you go. That's great, what he says that he brings. Here's another interesting element, and I'm going to tell you why this guy is absolutely angry. But this is Ersery talking about material things, and perhaps if he can play guard. Here's the final snippets from the media availability with Ersery.
Go ahead, Christy.
I don't know if you've had time to think about this yet, but what will be the first thing that you buy when you get that first NFL check?
Sleep is the most important thing. I'm going to get some sleep. These past few days, it's been very anxious. And then we getting straight to ball too. So I'm excited. I'm stoked to get down there, get the ball rolling. Meet all the guys, and I'm ready to give Houston, Texas my all. And they're definitely getting a ball player.
So there you go. So he hasn't really thought about what he's buying. If the offensive line culture is shifting a little bit in that direction, that's probably the ideal answer. Now, you don't always say what you believe, but the culture change, the blended in, not individual offensive line culture, probably the right answer that NickCaserio and company like to hear.
As far as like what you'll get, are you going to treat yourself to anything after how hard you've worked?
Nah, I haven't thought of that yet. Probably nothing. I'm good.
Last one for Aaron.
Hey, you've always played left tackle and played it very well. Do you have any thoughts on your role here? They have a veteran tackle in Cam Robinson. Would you be open to playing guard? Is that something that they've discussed with you a little bit? Some people think you could also kick inside if even just to cross-train at both positions. Thank you.
I'm ready for any opportunity that the Houston organization give me. I don't care where I'm at. I'm just ready to play. And like I said, when I'm out there, I'm gonna give them whenever I get out there. I'm gonna give them my all to protect CJ.
Thanks, Jay. Congrats.
All right, there you go. So not worried about what he's buying, not eliminating the possibility of playing guard, but there's talk about tackle and the Caserio 50-50 theory and how he fits. Here's another thing that I think if you put yourself in his shoes and you look at where the Texans are, that I find interesting about the whole Ersery thing. And this is kind of a nobody's talking about. You know, we like to do that on the show here in the locker room, as well as on SNL with myself and Cody Stutes live every day at 4. We're on the scene. We got you covered. You notice the hat that he's wearing as he's doing this interview? It says KC. This is a guy who grew up a Chiefs fan. This is a guy who loves Kansas City. This is a guy who probably would have loved to have been blocking for Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure all his family are Chiefs fans, Chiefs Nation, all that. Kansas City needed offensive linemen badly. The first day of the draft, he's gathered around with his family. He's watching. Kansas City selects Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, another offensive lineman, and they hop over the hometown kid. Now, I saw on KSHB out there in Kansas City, he told the Texans that they got the best tackle in the draft, and he was asked about the Chiefs by KSHB, and he said the following. This was the quote: "I don't want to talk about them. I'll see them in the playoffs." Texans are chasing the Chiefs. They're hoping this guy's going to be a big part of things, and I got a feeling he might be a little bit angry that he had to watch his hometown team draft someone that plays his position, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and hear his name called the next day. So maybe that factors in as well. There's a lot of question marks. We do know the Texans need offensive linemen. How does he fit? That's a little bit of getting to know him. Look forward to covering him at minicamp and seeing what exactly he brings. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it.